Americans and soon to be Americans. There's peace in Ukraine. It's happening, bro. It's happening. They're actually doing it. Peace deal reached between Russia and Ukraine, and Zelensky's flying to the USA to sign the peace deal made by President Trump. Details. United States gets 50% of the revenue from Ukraine's mineral wealth as repayment for the money spent on the war. Perfectly fair and appropriate. America did a favor to them by giving them money. It makes sense for them to get at least somewhat paid back. That's crazy. No membership to NATO. I know that everyone called me like a fool, but I always said that this was gonna happen. The reason why Russia started the war was because they were afraid Ukraine was gonna have membership in NATO. That's why they started the war. They would never ever make peace and let that happen. Ukraine concedes territory. That was also never gonna stop because Russia is a bully. They're a bully. They're assholes and bullies, and they conquered area. They're not gonna give it back. In Russia's mind, Ukraine always belonged to Russia, so there is no way they are ever gonna give that back. I feel like this is a good deal, honestly, to stop the war. Now, a lot of people are upset. A lot of people are furious, fuming, cooking, furious. Oh my God, Trump, you're the bad guy because Putin's the bad guy and Ukraine is the victim, and therefore Ukraine needs to get more, and Ukraine needs... Let me be real here for a second, okay? Let me be honest. Everyone complaining about this does not live in reality. You are not living in reality. This outcome was always gonna happen. Literally always gonna happen. Like, these people are actually retards. The people that are upset about this. Guys, yes, Russia was the aggressor. They invaded Ukraine, but they're also bullies, and they needed to get glazed enough to stop the war. This will cause millions of lives to probably be saved, and this will cause endless fighting to hopefully be stopped. And because you are so unhappy, because your egos can't stand the idea of the good guy actually conceding to make peace, you are willing to cause endless suffering and death, with the inevitable outcome literally being exactly this. I don't like that Trump wasn't willing to say that, Putin invaded Ukraine and stuff like that. I don't like it. But I'm going to be real. I do think that was the necessary evil, the necessary glazing it took to get Putin to stop causing millions of deaths. Now, again, maybe I'm an idiot here and I actually see things logically as opposed to all these absolute idiots that just sit there seeing black and white. Oh, good. Oh, bad. Oh, good. Oh, bad. Oh, the good guy is taking an L? Wow. How can you let the good guy take an L? You know what? Sometimes good guys take L's and there's nothing you can do about it, but you ultimately take that L to prevent yourself from a much bigger L in the future. All right? Millions of people were killed, and that is stopping because Trump was willing to glaze a bully. In my opinion, this is a massive dub. And yes, you see people absolutely crying and upset. I can't believe Trump would do this. I can't believe Trump would glaze Putin. You're never supposed to praise the bad guy. But I'm gonna be real. Bro's a peacemaker. He saved millions of lives. And yes, all it took was him saying some things that made you a little upset. And to be honest, that is a small fucking price to pay. Again, not calling Ukraine the good guy here, but they are definitely the victim. 100%. Russia was never going to let them join NATO. They were never going to give back territory. United States deserves payment for all the money that was spent on Ukraine. And in my humble opinion, yes, Trump looks like the bad guy by not being willing to, blast Putin, but I think that's what caused peace. Now, everyone is attacking Trump for this. Trump just signed new executive orders in the Oval Office, and every time he signs executive orders, he is the most transparent president of all time. The most transparent president. He's orange. You can see through him. He tells you whatever he thinks. Cryo Trump. Cryo Trump. Every 4 years he comes back again. He's so large and crazy. The price of peace was big, but so is my penis. Everyone's happy, except for Zelenskyy. But that's okay, because fuck anyone that's not orange. That's probably what he said. So anyway, I didn't actually see this happen. I didn't see the new executive orders yet, but I'm excited. I'm locked in. All right, let's see what we got.
They're suing all our companies. And if that's going to happen, we want to be the ones that sue, not them. And they use it almost as a form of running European countries and the EU in particular has been very violent in its lawsuits against our companies, and frankly, very violent and very bad to our airlines.
Yeah, there he is. Trump stops 2 wars and gets sued. My man! My guy! Yeah!
I've gotten calls from the heads of airlines saying they stop in Europe and they're getting charged all sorts of taxes that they never even heard of. They stop and they're getting fined and charged. And
I'm taking predictions, by the way. I'm taking predictions. How long is it taking until America and Europe are at war? What's your predictions? I'm saying 10 years. I'm predicting 10 years, and America and Europe will not be allies at all. All right, that's the predictions. All right, it's gonna be crazy.
And they do it only with American companies. They're not doing it to other.
Why would we go to war? Oh, foolish chatters. Oh, foolish chat. No, I just say shit. Are you aware that I just say shit? Don't pay any attention to that. But in 10 years, come back.
Countries, so we're stopping it. And we have another thing. We have another step to go. And if they don't shape up, as an example, Apple has had to pay like $17 billion in a lawsuit that nobody thought was worth anything.
Oh shit.
And I won't get into the judge or the decision or how the decision was arrived, but I'm pretty good at this stuff, and I think it's disgraceful. And Google's being sued, Facebook's being sued, and many others are being sued by their so-called government, if you call it a government, EU, and they don't treat us right. They don't treat us right as a country. So we're going to protect our companies. We have to protect our companies. So we're not going to have any companies left anymore.
Wow, a president that actually cares about the companies in the country, that's unbelievable. I've never seen something like that before. Gold card? Yeah, apparently he talks about a gold card in this. I have no idea what's going on.
I also want to thank Apple, though, for announcing they're going to invest $500 billion in our country. That's the biggest investment anybody's probably made to this date.
God damn!
And they're going to do it very quickly, and that's because of tariffs. They don't want to pay the tariffs, and they feel very strongly about the country. Now, they wouldn't have done it without us. Without the Trump administration, they wouldn't have done it, but they feel very strongly about the direction of the country. The polls have shown that, too. The polls are coming out showing direction of the company is of the country is the best they've ever seen, actually.
That's incredible, dude. Oh my God. When the big companies are actually investing in America, that's how you know. That's how you know it's real. Because the big companies, see, it's so funny. I love this argument so much. It's like, dude, if the big companies are putting massive amounts of money into something, then they fucking know what's gonna happen. It's like all the climate change, global warming people that say that, you know, the ocean levels are gonna rise 10 meters in the next, like, 5 years. Dog, then why is the bank giving loans to beachfront property? Okay? If the banks don't believe it, then it's probably not true. All right, they're the shadow government. They're the Jews that control the weather, or whatever the fuck the conspiracy theorists are saying, all right? If the banks are giving loans on beachfront property, they will not go underwater. I am just saying, you can always trust the multi-billionaire giga companies to understand what's actually going on in the world literally better than anybody else. I know, hot take. Did you hear that Apple iPhones are replacing the word Trump with racist? Wait, what?
Racist.
What?
Racist.
Oh my God.
Racist. Racist.
We just duplicated this on 3 phones. Other people are able to duplicate it. It may be what updates people have. Some people are not duplicating it. Sean, you did it on your phone.
Yeah. Bro, you know what I love? I love when Alex Jones is right, okay? Because that dude, he sounds like a complete retard half the time. But when he's right, it's incredible. Dude, what?
Racist.
That's insane. Oh my... Dude, hold up. What the fuck? Okay, I'm shocked. Subliminal control? Dude, that's insane.
Racist.
Yeah, this is not a coincidence or an accident. They're gonna get mega cooked. Holy fuck. All right.
Best they've ever seen. So I just want to thank Tim Cook and Apple for...
Why were people trying this? Dude, they were literally just saying racist in the text-to-speech, and that's what happened. You know what? I'm gonna try it on my iPhone right now. God damn it. I'm gonna try it right now. Okay, my VTuber model guy's gonna freeze because I use my phone to do the VTuber thingy. Alright. Racist. Yeah, no, it didn't happen. Racist. Yep, didn't happen. Didn't happen, but we tried it. We did it for science. We did it for science. Obviously, it's not gonna be every iPhone. I never update my shit. It's probably not a good thing that I never update my shit, but I never update my shit. Because if I'm always figuring if it's working for me, why update it? I'm just saying. Why not have a second phone? I have a second phone, but it's not an iPhone. Well, it's apparently some people in my chat are having that. Oh my god, half my chat are saying that it's happening to them. All right, we'll see. I'm not on the newest iOS. My iOS is old.
The confidence, $500 billion. That's the biggest investment anyone has made in a short period of time.
Mr. President, have you spoken today with the House Republican holdouts who said they would not be supporting the budget resolution?
Well, I'm not involved in that. They know what I want, and the Senate knows what I want too. And the Senate's got a bill that's very strong, having to do with the taxes, because the taxes is what's bringing all these companies in. So,
all right.
And without it, by the way, you'd have to double your own taxes. Everybody would be doubled up.
It's insane how he literally talked about how he's gonna be bringing jobs and businesses back to America before he ran, and everyone was like, "What? No! It's happening! It's happening! You could call him orange, but you can't call him a liar."
Or you'd have the biggest tax increase.
You could call him a liar, but you know, honestly, at least he was honest about 99% of the shit that he's been talking about.
Ever. So the House has a bill and the Senate has a bill, and I'm looking at them both, and I'll make decisions, but I don't know where they are in the vote. I know the Senate's doing very well, and the House is doing very well, but each one of them has things that I like. So we'll see if we can come together.
Mr. President, can you clarify, hopefully once and for all, what your expectations are with this email to federal employees?
Oh my god, the Doge people! I told you, it's every single time. It takes a few seconds, and until the Doge people show up. Hey guys, the Doge people, Elon is sending emails that people have to show that they actually worked in the last week. Oh no!
What are you going to use that information for? And do you see it as voluntary, like OPM has said, or mandatory?
Yeah, well, it's somewhat voluntary, but it's also, if you don't answer, I guess you get fired. I
guess that's what... Oh my god. I love how this is like crazy. Can we all just come together for a minute and recognize the fact that if you're a fucking employee, literally anywhere, and your boss asks you for a weekly update, literally a weekly update, and you have a meltdown, then you're a retard. Holy shit. He's just asking what you did in the last week. This is not a big deal. This is the type of shit every employee everywhere does. Why are government employees like, free to not actually do shit because somehow they're paid by taxpayers are paying for them? Why is that appropriate?
I'm still lost on that.
What it is do people exist? We have this massive government with millions of people, and nobody knows who's working for the government, who's not.
True.
So what they're doing is they're sending out a letter to everybody, and they're saying, what were the things you did last week? I guess they asked for 5.
I love how he's explaining it like you talk to a child, because it's the most basic bitch normal human shit, but people are absolutely losing it on Twitter.
And if people are working, it's easy. I could tell you 5 things I did last week. I could tell you 5 things I did 6 weeks ago, right? If they're there and they're working, they're able to say they did.
Yeah, it's no problem. This is literally no problem, unless, of course, you're scamming the government.
5 things during work. And that means they're working and they're with us and they have no further obligation. If they're not, it could be there's no such person. It could be that the person's no longer working. They're no longer living at that address. They may be moved. Maybe they moved to a different country, or maybe the person doesn't exist. And we then take that person off the payroll, and we save a lot of money by doing that.
He's completely correct. He's literally completely correct. There's no reason why people are freaking out about this. I just think they hate Elon and they hate Trump, so they're somehow trying to twist it into a bad thing. But why the fuck? Even the leftists that are freaking out about this just because they're completely in their own little echo chambers. How on earth can you defend people being employed and paid by American tax dollars that can't list 5 things that they've done in the last week? How on earth anyone actually working could do that? Okay? I upload 3 videos a day on YouTube, okay? All right? I uploaded 21 videos to YouTube in the last week. All right? I can tell you that I did that. Like, what is happening? And that's aside from a fuck ton of other business deals and meetings and shit that I've done.
But that's one of the only ways. I think it's a very smart thing. And it says, if you don't answer, essentially, you know, there's a penalty to pay. Like, that's the end of the job.
Well, Musk has said that. The order itself doesn't say that. I think that's part of the confusion. Is he speaking for you when he says...
Yeah, everybody speaks for me. I'm the one. I'll take responsibility. You know, the old statement, the buck stops here, right? Famous statement. Well, I can say the same thing. The buck stops here. No, we have to find out if people are getting paid and they're not working. And, you know, they have a problem. Let's say they have another job. And then they write in false statements. It's a big problem if they write in false statements.
He's right. That's fraud. It's weeding out fraud, and it's weeding out incompetent people that should not be hired by the government. I completely, like, literally support that 100%. And anyone that's upset about this is either 100% audience captured, or, like, either completely in an echo chamber, or they like fraud. It's one or the other.
Working for somebody else, but getting paid by the U.S. government. And that would mean that they're not allowed to be doing that. You know, they're not allowed to be working for us and be working for somebody else. We're paying them a lot of money. You know, we're paying them. So we'll see.
Dude, everyone speaks for me. Did he call out the media for putting words in his mouth? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's what he was actually saying, but yeah. Like, I do have to say, for me personally, if it turned out that I'm employing several people, and one of my, like, let's say my editors for my YouTube videos, okay? Let's say one of my editors doesn't do any work, but I'm giving him a paycheck, all right? I say, which videos have you edited in the last week? I uploaded 21 videos, all right, over 2 channels, and I ask him, hey, what is going on? What videos have you edited over the last week? And they're not willing to tell me. They're getting fired immediately. They're not getting paid if they didn't edit any videos. I'm sorry, that's just life. That's just normal reality. But somehow, I don't know how it happened, but somehow the government got so bloated. You have so many workers, the COVID stay-at-home people that aren't willing to go into to their office to actually do their job. They're so entitled. Literally so entitled to my tax money. It's despicable and gross. And anyone that's not willing to accept this, in my opinion, is just a retard. Now, most of the time, when I have a take and I have an opinion, I give you every right to disagree with my opinion. You could say, Nux, blue guy, I like you. I think you're kind of fun, but I don't agree with what you have to say here. And normally I respect that. But if you disagree with this take, I think you personally, on a personal level, are a retard. Definitely subscribe and stick around, but I personally think you're demented. Moving on.
Solves that problem. Most people
I just make people angry. I've noticed this is not a good business practice for me. But no, with all honesty, I think you have a problem.
Aren't willing to say that we're doing this, and this for the U.S. government, and yet they're at another job, because that's a big problem for them if they do that. So in some cases, they're not writing back, and if they don't write back, they end up eventually losing their job. We give them extensions. But,
Listen, I'm. The funny thing is, I do think that every system needs balance, but I am definitely leaning a lot more to capitalism than socialism. Basic capitalism is, I give you some money for your goods. All right? Basic bitch shit. If I am paying you, you do the job I am paying you for. And if you can't prove to me that you are doing a job for my money, then retard, get a job somewhere else. Go work as a gender-neutral dance coach in Afghanistan, or whatever USAID was paying for.
That was something we thought about a long time ago. We give them extensions, but we'll see. We have to make sure, number one, that we have people, number two, that they're working, and number two, they're working for us, not for another company.
He's right.
President Zelensky's coming on Friday.
Ooh, Zelenskyy, here we go. Put the fries in the bag, Zelenskyy. Oh, I'm kidding. All right, let's see.
And is the mineral deal sorted out?
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that he's coming on Friday. Certainly, it's okay with me if he'd like to, and he would like to sign it together with me, and I understand that's a big deal, very big deal.
Bro's brought peace, and they're calling him the villain because his rhetoric pissed them off. Let's. I want to phrase this in the most realistic way possible. Bro brought peace, and they're upset because his rhetoric pissed them off. That's what happened.
And I think the American people, even if you look at polling, they're very happy because, you know, Biden was throwing money around like it's cotton candy. And
unless this is only the mineral deal, in which case, hell yeah, America!
It's a very big deal. Look, it could be $1 trillion deal, it could be whatever, but it's rare earths and other things. And look, we're spending hundreds of billions of dollars on Ukraine and Russia fighting a war that should have never ever happened. That's a war.
A war that never would have started if I was president, which, to be honest, he's right.
That would have never happened if I were president.
How did I know? Don't say pre-watched, okay? That is not pre-watched, okay? Shut up. That was not a pre-watch mode. He just says that every time, okay? Listen. It never would have happened. I won all 7 swing states. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. All 7 swing states. Never would have happened. Highest in the polls, 4% acceptance rate. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. You know what I'm talking about.
And it didn't happen for 4 years. People say, how do we know that?
That's my guy.
It didn't happen for 4 years. Would have never happened. And nevertheless, this guy went into this situation and he spent money like nobody's ever seen. $350 billion. The other thing that we don't like.
Yeah, I just want to show you this because I have people in my chat say, no, it would have happened anyway. All right, so, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. My opinion on Russia-Ukraine is the only correct opinion. Now, you have the right to another one. It's just an incorrect opinion. I don't know why I'm so fucking sassy today. It's not healthy for my business here. I should not be this sassy. But let me be real here. Russia always wanted Ukraine. They always saw Ukraine as part of Russia, the part that got away. They always wanted to capture Ukraine. This literally always was a thing that they wanted. When Trump was in office, bro was a madman with a big fucking red button. They didn't want to do shit when Trump was in office. Then, all of a sudden, Biden comes into office. Ukraine wants to join NATO, which is a group of countries literally surrounding Russia and threatening them in specific ways. And Biden said this. Biden said this. So I'm going to show you this little Biden clip, and you'll tell me, all right?
Russia will be held accountable if it invades, and it depends on what it does.
What do you mean it depends on what Russia does?
Thing if it's a minor incursion and then we end up having a fight about what to do and not do, etc. But if they actually do what...
He says if it's a minor incursion, it's okay. So let's get this straight. Ukraine wants to join NATO. Russia always wanted to attack Ukraine to conquer it. Biden, the president of the United States, says that if Russia does a minor incursion, it's okay. Yeah, no fucking little shit in a basket Russia's gonna use this as a moment to actually fucking invade Ukraine. No fucking shit. Now Trump's in office, all right? Russia's never gonna go back. They're never gonna give back what they already conquered. They are never gonna let Ukraine join NATO. So Trump is in this position where literally there are no possible options that could just undo what was already done. We are unbidened from what has been, as Kamala Harris so properly said. So, at this point, what's Trump supposed to do? He makes peace. Yes, he glazes Putin, and it's disgusting, and it hurts me to think about that he's glazing the obvious invader here. But he has to glaze Putin because you have to make a bully happy to get the bully to feel like they won. They could turn around to their country and be like, look, guys, we won. I'm going to be real. That's what's happening. And there's no other way to interpret it. I'm just objectively correct here. I think that, yes, it's sad that Ukraine is the victim here in this situation and that they're not getting some sort of big justice or whatever. But ultimately, dog, ultimately, millions of lives are going to be saved because of this. And we'll see what happens. But ultimately, I think Ukraine should become the 51st state. Them in Canada, all 195 states of America. It's going to be crazy.
Is that
the United Continents of America, Planet America, we're calling it.
Europe has spent 100 billion. We've spent 350 billion. Europe gets their money back because they spent it in the form of a loan, and we just gave them, whether it's 300 or 350 billion, nobody really knows. They can't even tell me the answer to that. But
that's crazy that he doesn't even know the amount of. No one knows. That's insane that no one knows how much money was given there.
means probably more than that. So what we're doing is now we're saying, look, we want to be secured. We want to get that money back. We're helping a country through a very, very big problem, a problem like very few people have had. Shouldn't have had this problem because it shouldn't have
Wouldn't have happened if I was president.
Happened, but it did happen. So we have to straighten it out. But the American taxpayer now is going to get their money back plus.
Mr. President, yesterday with Emmanuel Macron, you said you had spoken to Putin about the idea of peacekeepers in Ukraine, that Putin was fine with it. The Kremlin, I guess, has said that that's actually unacceptable to them. What's real here?
We will be moving all Ukrainians to Gaza. Palestinians will go to Ukraine. It's gonna be crazy. We'll do a hanky-panky, swappy-wappy.
That's not what I was told. But you're going to need some form of peacekeeping, so something will be done that's going to be satisfactory to everybody. We need peace.
He's right. When you make a deal, you have to take a sacrifice. Ultimately, there is no way, and I'm going to be honest. I think Trump is saying something that is hurting Ukraine. You know, emotionally, without a doubt. But you need to find peace. How on earth are you going to make peace? How are you going to make peace if Russia's not willing to move back? So, ultimately, yes, you can criticize Trump for saying that, for not saying that Putin invaded. But I don't know if that's one of the cards on the table that were required to stop the war.
Keeping to.
Any situation
it's
with
actually.
American troops involved?
I know people are going to hate on me for this and call me callous and shit, but yes, this is the trying to put my emotions away for a second and be reasonable for a minute. And look, it's not a perfect resolution, but I'm going to stand by my opinion. And you have every right to disagree with me. But I'm going to stand by my opinion for sure.
Actually, something I did discuss, but a form of peacekeeping that's acceptable to everybody. Ultimately, we'll be able to agree on something, I'm sure.
With Ukraine and this mineral deal, what does Ukraine get in return, Mr. President?
They got $350 billion! What do you mean, what do they get in return? God, these people don't understand anything about business.
$350 billion?
Yes! Duh! I hate this concept that somehow America needs to be the world's piggy bank. Everyone in the world feels entitled to America's money. Why? Literally why? If America does you a favor, you get on your knees, you suck the orange cock, and you say, thank you, Mr. President, for your favor. They're giving you $350 billion. The least they could do is pay you whatever they can for it. I don't know. I hate this concept that America somehow, because America's powerful, they have to give the entire world literally everything for free.
Lots of equipment, and military equipment, and the right to fight on, and originally the right to fight. Look, Ukraine, I will say they're very brave and they're good soldiers, but without the United States and its money and its military equipment, this war would have been over in a very short period of time. In fact, I was the one that gave the javelins. You remember the famous javelins? That was me. That wasn't Obama. It wasn't Biden. It wasn't anybody else. It was me. And they wiped out a lot of tanks with those javelins. And the expression was that Obama gave sheets and I gave the javelins. That was a big deal at the time. It wiped out. That was the beginning when people said, wow, that's something. Well, that was American equipment. Without American equipment, this war would have been over very quickly. And American money, too. I mean, a lot of money.
So listen, you're looking at this the wrong way. You see, the reason why Trump has given money to Ukraine was to protect his assets. If Russia would have conquered Ukraine, Who would have these miracles? This was an minerals. This was an investment, guys. It's crazy.
That war fighting equipment and the ammunition, that's sustained going forward for Ukraine, and how long is it sustained?
Well, it could go forward for a while, and maybe until we have a deal with Russia. Look, we need to have a deal with Russia, otherwise it's going to continue. But now when Americans put up their money, the taxpayer money, and the president approves it, we're getting our money back in some...
I feel like America as a country is a very empathetic country. You know, we have freedom of speech. We care about the individual. It's a very empathetic country with a very empathetic people. It's people that care about the victim no matter what. Literally no matter what. That's why in America, I think you have so often, you'll have people like supporting Ukraine because they're the victims, and therefore saying that literally everything you do ever has to be for Ukraine. You're not allowed to do something mean to Ukraine, even if it'll cause peace, because Ukraine is the victim, and you're not allowed to be mean to the victims, ever. And when I say victims, I mean a minority group, I mean a culture, I mean a country, no matter what. Same with, you know, the Israel-Gaza conflict. You'll have people actually empathetic to Hamas terrorists because, well, you know, Israel's army is a lot stronger. Yes, the Hamas terrorists absolutely 100% started it. You know, they jumped into the fucking country. They killed thousands of people, innocent people, you know? And I think that now they're losing a war that they started, and they are literally, in the world, in the eyes of the empathetic individual, they're the victims, guys. And I think that's really a very common perspective in America. Ultimately, we'll see where this goes. But I think people aren't looking at this reasonably at all. Because even though I agree that Russia's the aggressor and the invader, and I 100%, it hurts me when I see Trump not willing to say that. But ultimately, peace is so much more important, and the prevention of the deaths of millions of people is so much more important. Than, you know, praising and glazing the right people.
Form, but it could go on for a while, or it could be settled quickly. I think it's going to be settled quickly.
Either that or it's virtue signaling. No one actually cares about anything. They just kind of want to look like they're on the right side of history, which is probably more likely if I'm being honest and a little bit cynical.
Spoke with President Putin. I think he wants to settle it, and wants to get on with life. It's horrible. What's happening? Horrible. Thousands of soldiers a week are being killed, and others too. But especially on the battlefield, thousands a week are being killed, and we want that to end.
When you start,
yeah, Brian?
Yes. Okay.
It's so funny how all the empathetic people in the world that say that, oh, that, you know, Ukraine is the victim and stuff, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about thousands of soldiers a week that are dying. Why don't you care about them? And they'll keep dying. You can't demonize a bully and expect him to cave. I don't know, it's wild. It's wild seeing people just understand so little about basic diplomacy.
Real quickly, Carolyn Levitt, your press secretary, sent an earthquake through that briefing room earlier today announcing that the WHCA would not have any control over placing media in the seats. The briefing room, just want to get your thoughts on that. And also on Air Force One.
I love
this. It's trending on X. People are talking about it. Get your thoughts.
Well, we're going to be now calling those shots.
Yeah, until now, there was some sort of press that decided who got to go in and ask questions. Not anymore.
As you know, we won that lawsuit right there. See the Gulf of America, which is a beautiful...
Bro is unstoppable.
Name. Most people agree. I don't know. It's, you know...
He put the poster in his office. Oh my God.
AP has been terrible. Look, I think they're radical left. I think they're third-rate reporters.
Amazing.
I know the person.
Dude, his office is just going to be memorabilia of his accolades. He's going to have the Gulf of America. He has his mugshot on the other wall. Dude, this is crazy. This is unbelievable. Oh my God.
The specific young lady that works on the account is terrible. She's a radical left lunatic as far as I'm concerned. They don't treat us fairly. That's number one. And number two, they had no right to do that. This is the Gulf of America. And if you look at that shoreline, look at that shoreline.
Stop dead naming the Gulf of America. Why do you care if we call you by your name before you became transgender, but you have the disrespect to call the Gulf of America by its dead name, goddammit?
Shoreline. Look, from Florida, all...
I like how he's describing it. You can't make this up. Wow, look, it's so big. Oh, and then I came and I was like, wow, it's beautiful. Look at it, the way it curves. I love the way it goes around like, oh, it's gorgeous. Wow. Look, from the very, very tip of the Florida penis all the way to the bottom of the Texas ball sack. It's glorious. We love it.
Most of it is, it's called America. And vast majority, like big numbers. So
he's just looking at it so proud. What the fuck is happening?
I'm just admiring it as I look at it.
This is crazy.
I'm getting teary-eyed, but I don't want you to say Trump broke down and started crying. No, how beautiful is that? Look at the shoreline. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
That's
Look at
America.
that.
Can I shift our attention to Canada real quick?
Yes, please.
Last week,
Dude, that's crazy. Holy shit. He is so, like, consistent about this shit. It's unbelievable.
spent some time with two government officials from Canada. And I was asking them how realistic is it that Canada would be the 51st state.
Yeah.
And they told me there is a path. Alberta is
what?
first, and if they sign on, Saskatchewan would follow.
No shit.
And then you go west to
No
British
way.
Columbia. There is a movement in Canada to join us. What are your thoughts on that and how that's perceived?
Every time Trump says something, everyone's like, oh, Lamau, he's trolling. He's just an orange retard. And then a few years later, the United North American States of America, it's gonna be big.
So it's true. Thank you, Brian. It's true. A lot of people in Canada are liking becoming our beautiful, cherished 51st state.
Oh, my fucking
They'll have to pay
God.
much lower taxes. They'll have the ultimate security. You know, they don't pay very much for security right
We provide the security.
now because they rely on us.
Now we know. We know. The United American Empire, it's gonna be big.
Which is really unfair to us. They make cars that we could make, and they send them back into the United States. They make a lot of things, including the sending of oil and everything. We don't need their oil. We don't need their lumber. In fact, we're going to be freeing up, and I've asked Howard Lutnick to get that done with Lee and everybody, Lee Zeldin, environmental. We're freeing up our forests. We're going to be able to
Oh my God.
take down trees. Right now,
Oh
you know,
my
we're
God.
so restricted environmentally. We're going to be freeing it up with an emergency order. We have an emergency.
We are gonna be filling the Grand Canyon with cereal and milk. We will make it the biggest cereal bowl on the planet.
Order, and we're going to be freeing up our forests. We have more forests than almost anybody, and great lumber, great trees. We don't need anybody's trees. We don't need trees from Canada or anybody else. In fact, we have to put the slits, as they call them, the area, you know, 50, 60-yard area in between areas of trees. It stops the fires. And frankly, California should have been doing that for years. It's almost getting...
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. No trees, no fire. I mean, that's just kind of basic shit. But anyway, I hope that he doesn't actually, like, affect the actual national parks in America, because there are some really gorgeous national parks. The California trees, a lot of those gotta go. Like, literally, without a doubt, a lot of those gotta go. Or at least make patches between the different groups of trees so that the fires can't actually spread that much. But, I guess we'll see.
Getting late, they're going to run out of forests the way they're going. What a shame. And by the way, the water is flowing in California. I hope you people have seen it.
Yeah, no, I hope everyone's seen that too, because it's absolutely insane that radical environmental activists somehow preferred to do whatever the goddamn dumb fuck self-masturbating bullshit they've been doing in fucking California and letting houses burn down and people die. How on earth did they let that happen?
But the water is flowing. Do you have a picture of that? I'd hold it up. Do you have a picture of that? Get a picture of it, please. You know, we had a little skirmish in California. I can't believe we had to do that, but we opened up the water in California. The water was flowing into a place called the Pacific Ocean, which for the Pacific...
That's the Pacific Ocean. We're going to be calling it the Western America Ocean.
Pacific Ocean is only a drop, but for us, it's more water that we can use in California. So I'll get you some photographs, but it's a beautiful sight. The water is flowing in California. Beautiful water from the Pacific Northwest and beyond. and it flows down, and instead of being routed out to the Pacific Ocean, and this has been going on for 20 years more in order to take care of a certain species of fish, which wasn't doing very well without water. I can
smeltfish. Smeltfish was having a hard time out there.
tell you. So that's a big deal. It's like not reported. It's incredible. But California has a lot of water. That's going to take care of farmers. It's going to wetten up the land.
It's going to stop fires.
And it's going to go all the way down to Los Angeles, where they have curfews on water, where they have all sorts of blocks on water. You can only use so much. We're going to put until just recently.
And according to the scientists, fish don't even do very well without water. It's crazy.
They were going to put a number of gallons per person.
I love how I have some people in my chat that are like, you know, relatively left-leaning, and they'll be like, low-key, this is actually pretty based of Trump. Yes! Yes! It is literally very based of Trump. Yes! Yes! Fuck the fish. We're saving human lives. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Literally.
Living in a house in Beverly Hills on water. You're not going to have that problem anymore. Do you have a picture? Let me just see what that looks like. How beautiful is that? Look at that beautiful water flowing. Look at that. That's coming in the dikes and other means of transportation. Isn't that beautiful? Who would believe that? It's all water.
They printed a picture of his tweet. They printed a picture of his tweet. Oh my God.
They could have had. I went to the governor during my first term and I said, why don't you do this?
What are you doing? See what I did there? See what he did there? What are you doing, Governor?
And they said they have an environmental problem with clean water.
These people are such actual retards. All these activists, they need to be fucking investigated by the FBI before being inserted into insane asylums. Anyone that's like, oh, I'm an activist, I care about the environment, I don't care if people die instead, yeah, immediately. Sorry, bro. Immediately. Please, get out of here.
If this water were there, you wouldn't have had those fires.
He's right. There's activists, literally every activist ever. You know, you got Hassan Piker on Twitch, activist for terrorist organizations. Right, you got these activists for the environment gluing themselves to streets and shit. Like, you guys are all insane. Literally all of you. Transgender activists with their balls hanging out in public in front of children. Like, dog. Literally no one would care about what you do in your own time, on your own, as a transgender person or whatever. No one would give a shit about that if not for the activists. I'm sorry. The activists, either they are all actually secretly psyops to make you hate their cause, or they are directly causing their own downfalls, and I love downfalls. Definitely subscribe for more downfalls. Hell yeah, all the chaos, all the downfalls, subscribe.
Sprinklers, they make people...
Activists are just terrorists that are renamed.
People put sprinklers in the ceiling of a home, and they had no water in them. With this, they would have had a lot of water in them. They would have all been full. That would have had you would have had a whole different deal down there. You probably wouldn't have had a fire, but if it was, it would have been small, would have been put out.
Never would have had a fire if I was president. I love how he does that so much. Every single time he does that shit. Flip a coin, heads I win. He gets tails. It wouldn't have happened if I was president.
You had the fire hydrants not working.
And he's probably right. He would probably been right.
In California.
California, more genders than fire hydrants. Crazy how that happens. California's really wet for me, I have to say. I went in there, I was like, spread your legs, California, and there she was, wet and ready to go.
So it's a beautiful site. These are canals that were built. These were all built. And you saw them for years. They were empty. Concrete. They call them the V-shapes or the half pipes.
The V-shapes. The V-shape is wet, guys.
Forms, but they're shaped, and they rush down through the farm areas where the farmers can take it, and down to Los Angeles. And they were sitting empty for years.
Holy shit.
And now look at that. Look at that way it looked. It wasn't easy. We had to be very unfriendly to get into those areas. We opened it up.
It's crazy how common sense is probably just so uncommon. Like, basically all the things Trump has done in office have realistically just been common sense. Common sense that someone is just not afraid to actually say. Like the trans people in women's sports or whatever. Basic bitch common sense shit, 99% of the people agree with this shit, okay? But everyone was terrified to say it. Like, literally.
I essentially attacked California. Can you believe it? I attacked California.
Why is he saying it like that?
Let's go.
At the outset of your administration, sir, you committed to ending the weaponization of government, to holding those accountable who participated in the weaponization of government.
Oh shit, that's a good one. Oh my god! Endless content, an executive order looking into the people that weaponize the government against individuals. Oh yes! Ah, I am so happy about this personally.
Hold it. This is a good one. Is everybody listening?
No.
Deranged Jack Smith. We're going to call it the Deranged Jack Smith signing or bill. Go ahead.
One law firm that provided pro bono legal services to the special counsel's office under Jack Smith's leadership was Covington and Burling. As a result of those actions, we're now going to be suspending and putting under review the security clearances for the attorneys and employees at that firm who worked with Jack Smith's team. And we're going to continue holding the people who were responsible for the weaponization of government and who supported it accountable for what they did.
Sorry, bro. I'm having a nuxgasm right now. This is exactly what I wanted to see. No more shadow government bullshit. Hold them accountable, god damn it.
And you'll be doing this with other firms as time goes by, right?
We're looking at sort of the whole panoply of options.
The weaponization of our system by law firms, even pro bono work they're doing just in order to clog up government, stop government. And nobody knows about it more than me.
Literally no one in the world, in history, probably had as much media government weaponization against an individual. I know it's a hot take, but I don't think I've seen anyone get attacked like Trump did. Like, actually.
Hopefully that'll never happen again.
So that Covington and Burlington?
Covington and Burlington.
Okay.
Mr. President, may I ask you a question about Europe? So long term, do you plan to maintain the number of U.S. troops?
Wait, I just want to savor this one, please. Who would like this pen? Why don't you send it to Jack Smith?
Oh my god! That's crazy.
A deranged person.
This is like his personal enemy. Oh my god, the catharsis.
So, Brian, what do you say to people who worry that targeting an individual firm or individuals who aren't Jack Smith?
Excuse me, I've been targeted for 4 years. Longer than that. Thank you, sir. So you don't tell me about targeting. I was the target of corrupt politicians for 4 years, and then 4 years after that. So don't talk to me about targeting. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh my god, he killed him! He killed him. 911, we've witnessed a murder! I'm calling to report a murder. He fucking killed him. Oh! Dude, that's crazy. Holy shit.
President, there are approximately 2 million federal employees right now. By the end of your term, what do you expect that number to be? What would you like that number to be?
Well, it'll be lower, but I can't tell you. Everybody knows I ran on downsizing government, but making government better. I ran on tariffs and making our country rich, and that's what's going to do. We're going to be doing something else that's going to be very, very good. We're going to be selling a gold card. You have a green card. This is a gold card.
People told me I had to get ready for the gold card. All right, I'm ready.
We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges plus.
Wait, the gold card is for... the gold card is for rich immigrants. Oh my god. He's making a special gold. You can literally just buy immigration if you're rich. It's just a fucking battle pass for United States immigration. Holy crap.
It's going to be a route to citizenship.
This is incredible. What the fuck is happening?
And
the content, endless content.
Wealthy people will be coming into our country by buying this card. They'll be wealthy, and they'll be successful, and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people.
I mean, to be real, think about it. It makes sense. Yes, the world is pay to win, but that's just life. It does make sense. Think about it. Like, ultimately, a lot of people are upset about this. Like, even in my chat, people are upset about this, that he's just streamlining it for the rich. Bro, dude, America's purpose is to make America better for America. Can we just all come together here for a second? It's always been pay to win. All right, it always has. Let's just rip that Band-Aid off right now. The job for America is for Americans. If he is doing this shit, where people are gonna come in as multimillionaires that could afford this shit, fuck the poor, well, he's saying, why should America sacrifice itself for poor people in other countries? There are plenty of poor people in America that are poor. This is not fuck the poor, unless, of course, it is a very bad faith understanding here. I don't see the issue with this. As long as some vetting is actually done. Obviously, I don't think they want, you know, fucking terrorist fucking super rich terrorist people or, I don't know, random other people and cartels to just buy their way in. I'm sure that they're going to do background checks to some degree. But as a road to citizenship where they literally bring in someone that'll be paying millions of dollars a year to taxes in America, employing thousands of Americans, I'll be real, it's just a net good. I don't even think this is a troll. I really think he's actually serious about this. I'll be honest. I really think he's actually being serious about this shit. Super rich terrorists like Hassan? No, I mean super rich terrorists. You know Hamas, the terrorist organization that started this entire war in Israel right now, and every single death that happened is mostly their fault. So Hamas, those guys, the guys that Hassan supports, so those guys are all living in tunnels and they're suffering in Gaza and stuff like that. But all the leaders of Hamas are multi-billionaires. Did you know that? Did you know that all the Hamas terrorist heads are all multi-billionaires? Well, they're all dead now because, you know, fuck them and they deserve it. And I hope that they're rotting in hell. But, you know, they're all dead, but they were all billionaires. So, to be real here, gotta recognize that reality, that there will need to be background checks done. But as far as like a basic process, this just sounds like a really good thing, honestly.
And we think it's going to be extremely successful. Never been done before or anything like this, but it's something that we're going to be putting out over the next, would you say 2 weeks, Howard? Do you want to say a couple of words about it?
Oh my God, this is really happening! They're fast-tracking this shit. Oh my God.
Wait a minute.
And no, chat, this isn't fuck poor people. This is prioritizing Americans, even poor Americans who, by the way, can now get a job working for one of these billionaires that are coming in from some other country.
For that gold card, do you have to invest a certain amount of money in this country in order to qualify for that gold card?
Yeah, exactly.
So the EB-5 program was really, you lend some money, but it was full of nonsense, make-believe, and fraud, and it was a way to get a green card that was low-priced. So the president said, rather than having this sort of ridiculous EB-5 program, we're going to end the EB-5 program.
Oh, shit.
We're going to replace it with the Trump Gold Card, which is really a green card gold, so they'll be able to pay $5 million to the U.S. government. They'll have to go through vetting, of course. We're going to make sure they're wonderful, world-class, global citizens. They can come to America. The president
They're going to come.
Can give them a green card, and they can invest in America, and we can use that money to reduce our deficit. Why do we give out lotteries of green cards? Why do we give out EB-5?
He's literally right. Why should green cards go to people that won't help America? Literally, the government should be focused on, because let's look at it this way. 100 people want to move into America, okay? 100 people want to move into America. Who should America, and America only has one green card to give to one of those 100 people, all right? That's literally it. They have one green card to give to one of those 100 people. There's one slot open. What should they do? Should they, A, lottery? Huh? Lottery. One of those 100 randomly get into America. Or give it to the person who most realistically will help America the most. Let's be honest here. From America's perspective, what should they do? If you think lottery, with all due respect, that's retarded. America's goal is for America. They're doing these immigrants a favor. Sounds like a skill issue. Pick number 2.
Green cards. The President of the United States understands that the right answer is, why don't we eliminate the deficit of the United States of America?
Option 3, Battle Royale, baby. That's what I'm saying. Fight to the death. Drop them all in Fortnite. Let's see how that goes.
Instead.
I'm still with option 2, to be honest, but option 3 is sounding very interesting.
Gold card, the gold card. Well,
Hunger Games Gold Card Edition. It's gonna be crazy.
Millions, but the gold card will bring in with it people that create jobs, very high-level people. I think companies will pay to get people in. For instance, you today graduate from...
Oh, by the way, one of my favorite hypocrisies, because hypocrisy is very fun. I personally like hypocrisy very much, especially when I get to laugh at it. My favorite hypocrisy is all the people saying that, don't deport illegal immigrants that are rapists and murderers, and then simultaneously have those same exact people, the same exact people, saying, deport Elon Musk. I love those people. Shout out to the hypocrites. They make my day a little better.
The Wharton School of Finance or Harvard or Stanford or any college, and nobody knows if you can even go to work for a company. So Apple and all these companies that want to get people to be working for them will be able to buy a card, and for the people that are number one in their class at top schools, I see that as one of the things, but generally speaking, it'll be people with money and people that create jobs, and they won't have to pay any tax on income outside of the United States, which they're not paying right now. They're not citizens, but they'll have to pay if they create jobs in the United States. They'll pay full taxes like everybody else. So you're getting big taxpayers, big job producers, and we'll be able to sell maybe 1 million of these cards, maybe more than that. And if you add up the numbers, they're pretty good. As an example...
No, I mean, this makes literally 100% sense to literally every single person that actually wants America to do better. There's no discussing this. Like, the thing is with Trump's policies, they're also logical. Like, you can hate him for sounding rash. It sounds like it's being mean to poor people in other countries. But if you just apply, like, a little bit of logic, even just, like, a little bit of logic, like... This is the most basic bitch logical shit in the universe, and my favorite thing is watching people that so badly hate Trump, they twist themselves into pretzels to somehow paint him as the bad guy.
1 million cards would be worth $5 trillion. $5 trillion. Wow. And if you sell...
I came in, I was like, wow, 5 trillion, that's a big number.
10 million of the cards, that's a total of $50 trillion. Well, we have 35 trillion in debt. That'd be nice. So we'll see. But
dude, if he could end the fucking deficit or at least make a big dent in it, that would be unbelievable. Because to be real here, this is insane.
It could be great. Maybe it will be fantastic. We have it all worked out from the legal standpoint. It's totally legal to do. Hasn't been done before. It's been done in many different forms. We give them away. Why should we give them away? We shouldn't give them away.
Why should we give them away if we could sell them instead? Oh my god. Dude, oh, my inner Jew is doing cartwheels right now. What can I say? What can I say? Literally.
And I think it's something very exciting. I think it's potentially just something that we're all very excited about. So it's a gold card. It's somewhat like a green card, but at a higher level of sophistication. It's
so big, it's so gold. It's even better than the silver card. Silver card, that's for losers and broke people. The gold card, that's much better. Very excited to introduce the platinum card. The platinum card gets you a job directly replacing someone that is American even. We make you double American. Soon we're gonna have double citizenships for the elites.
Road to citizenship for people. And
diamond card, you immediately become the vice president.
Essentially people of wealth or people of great talent, where people of wealth pay for those people of talent to get in, meaning companies will pay for people to get in and to have long-term status in the country. And I think it's something we're very, very happy about. Would you have anything to say about that?
Well, many other countries do this, including, of course, your 51st state does that.
Dude, they have to stop doing this. They have to stop doing this, guys. No. It's just become... See, the thing is, like, let me... As someone that's been a troll on the internet for literally the last year, okay? And by last year, I mean last decade. I've literally been a troll on the internet for the last decade. Okay, when you troll someone and it pisses them off and they have a temper tantrum, it makes you want to double down, all right? Listen, do you think I would have made 6 videos on Hassan Piker if Hassan wouldn't literally double down with his meltdowns every single time? I'll be honest. I'll be completely honest. If I make fun of you and you have a complete and utter meltdown, I'm just gonna do it again. Come on, dude. Come on, Canada. Have some dignity. Laugh about it. Just be like, oh, that's not gonna happen. And it would be over. It would have literally been over. But the fact that they're actually like death spiraling and rolling in their coffins, it makes it so much worse.
And the money's earmarked for deficit reduction?
It may be earmarked for deficit, but
Oh my God, look at his face. Trump didn't laugh and he feels so bad.
it actually could be more money than that. I mean, if you did 10
It makes it more delicious. Yeah, it does. So Canada, stop.
million, it would be, you'd have $15 trillion left over. But generally, it's going to be paid down debt, yes.
Do you need Congress for this? Do you think you need
No,
to
we don't
pass a
need
law?
Congress, no, because we're not doing citizenship, we're doing the card. It's a path to citizenship, a very strong path to citizenship, but we're not doing the citizenship. For that, I'd have to get Congress.
And would all countries be eligible for this gold card?
Depends. The countries largely, the people will be vetted very carefully.
That's exactly what I said. He's not getting any Hamas terrorist billionaires into the fucking country. Obviously, it's going to be vetted, but it's still pay to win, as the world literally is.
Mr. President, on Ukraine, would you provide military support for Ukraine in the future under a peace agreement?
Say it again louder.
Would you provide military support for Ukraine in the future as part
You mean
of
like
a peace
security?
agreement? Yeah.
Well, people are going to do it. I think Europe will largely be responsible for that. European countries will be responsible.
But Macron asked for a U.S. backup.
Well, we'll see. I mean, right now we're just in the process of negotiating.
I think people don't understand something really basic here, all right? And I feel like the bad guy having to say it in such obvious terms, but I am anyway. Putin wants to conquer Ukraine, okay? He wants to do that. If America says in the future we will be putting up soldiers to protect Ukraine, then Putin might not really want to make peace right now. Trump saying this right now, that I'm not talking about Ukraine, I don't want to discuss it, is very likely part of the peace negotiations. I feel like so many people are so deluded about this entire peace deal, and they're just like so upset because Ukraine is the one that got invaded. They're so upset that Trump isn't willing to say, oh, Putin, bad boy. Putin bad. Russia bad. And people are so furious that Trump isn't able to say that. They're not recognizing the very basic reality. The incredibly basic reality that is, he's trying to make peace. You don't make peace by just blasting one side of the peace deal. Putin wants Ukraine. That's a fact. Okay, that is a fact. He is not giving back what he already conquered. That's a fact. Okay? He does not want them as part of NATO, or he will never stop the war. That is a fact. Putin is a madman. If he somehow quits on any of those three things, literally on any of those three things, giving back Ukraine, NATO, whatever, he will be assassinated in Russia the next day. Literally. Putin wants to go to his people and said, look what we did. We won. All right? We did great. That's what Putin wants to tell his people, okay? And any solution that will not have Putin be able to do that, it will never make peace, and thousands more people will die every single day. I really feel like this is the only path to peace. Like, I don't understand why people can't understand that. People are like, they don't want peace. They would rather Trump say Putin bad and kill millions of people than Trump say Putin good, even though Putin is bad. It's unbelievable watching people have absolutely no basic idea of what negotiations or diplomacy actually is.
We've pretty much negotiated our deal on raw earth and various other things. We'll be looking at that security. You're talking about general security for Ukraine later on. I don't think that's going to be a problem. There are a lot of people that want to do it. And I spoke with Russia about it. They didn't seem to have a problem with it. So I think they understand. They're not going back in. Once we do this, they're not going back in.
I just saying personally, I don't know if he's saying this to appease people or if he actually thinks it. Statistically, they probably will go back in. My guess is they probably will go back in, but it probably won't be for many years. This is Russia. They'll always want Ukraine. Literally, they will always want Ukraine. At some point, there'll be another Biden in office in America, and they'll be like, ooh.
On that gold card,
would the U.S. provide, for instance, air defense?
Well, I just told you.
They keep asking about U.S. providing their defense. He can't say that until there's peace. If he says U.S. will provide defense, Russia will not stop.
Right now, we're not providing anything. You know, it's about Europe, too. Europe put in $100 billion, and we put in $350 billion.
They did it as a loan.
It's not a fair thing.
We did it as
a
gift.
Normally say, and I say it now anyway, but we want equalization. They should put up actually more money than us because they're right there. We have an ocean in between.
Big ocean between us.
But we've had very good talks with Russia. We've had very good talks with Ukraine, and we think it maybe will come to an end and we'll stop killing young people all over the battlefield and elsewhere.
On Europe, so do you plan to maintain heavy military presence in Europe in the long term, like tens of thousands of troops?
We'll be involved. Yeah, we'll be involved in Europe. We're involved in Europe now. Europe is our friend. They took advantage of us on trade. We don't like that, what the EU does. We don't like that. But we'll solve that the old-fashioned way. We'll give them the same reciprocal numbers. You know, we're talking about a reciprocal tax. You know that.
And no one knows that. Everyone's like, why is he taxing our allies? Well, your allies were taxing you, motherfucker.
And if they charge us, we charge them. Right now, they charge us much, much more than we charge them. And they have non-monetary taxes also and tariffs. And we're going to change that. It's all changing. It's all changing. We're not going to be the people that we were. We had people in this office sitting right at this desk or another model of this desk, because as you know, the other desk is right now being refurbished.
Is Steve Witkoff delaying his trip to the Middle East?
No, not that I know of. No, Steve. And the Middle East has been great. Saudi Arabia has treated us really well. They really have.
All right.
I think Qatar has treated us very well, too. They want to get that whole mess ended in the Middle East. You know, we don't even talk about that anymore. You guys haven't asked one question about the Middle East, but the Middle East seems to be doing relatively well.
May I ask about the Middle East, sir, about the Middle East? For months, even before you were elected in November, you've spoken about your desire to free all of those hostages that have been held by Hamas since October the 7th, a year and a half ago. And just a few weeks ago, you gave an ultimatum. You said if they're not all released by noon on February the 15th, there would be hell to pay.
Well, that's not good context. He actually said there will be hell to pay and we will support Israel's decision. That is literally what Trump said. In case you were curious for, you know, context, because, I mean, this is the media. You can't really trust the media for anything.
Is Hamas thumbing their nose at you, Mr. President?
No, I think the opposite. So, as you know, they weren't going to release any more hostages. And I said there's going to be hell to pay, and then they agreed that they were going to release the hostages that they had agreed to release, plus an extra one. And
wait, Trump just made a post about Gaza? Uh-oh. What'd he do? What did the man do? Oh, fuck. I didn't see this. Uh-oh. The president, he posted this. Oh, no, what did he do?
You free, bringing the light for all to see.
No
more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new life. Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza.
Oh my God, Trump!
Trump Gaza shining bright, golden future, a brand new
Oh my God, a giant golden Trump statue. There's no shot bro. I mean, it's all AI, yeah.
Feast and dance, the deal is done. Trump Gaza, #1.
I can't believe he posted this. Holy balls. I mean, let's be real here. Let's be real here. It's peak. I don't know about the giant golden Trump statue, but dude, can you imagine the Hassan Piker stream when the gold statue goes up? Yeah, anyway, very excited for that to happen. That'll be great. That'll be great, yeah.
So that you could say that was a big difference.
Guys, he literally said that. Let me just be real here. Trump literally said that this was his plan the entire time. Why is everyone so surprised that he's posting these tweets? He literally said that was his plan the whole time. Right? You can hate him, but America, baby. I respect the no fucks given attitude 100%. And people are literally furious about this. Let me try to put this into perspective, okay? Hamas threw a parade last week, okay, where they took the coffins of babies that they murdered with their bare hands and carried those coffins through the streets while Palestinians surrounded them cheering and blasting music, and children were jumping on the coffins of the babies that they murdered, okay? That's what happened last week. No one complained, all right? On the left, no one was like, oh shit, that's pretty fucked up. Damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's just propaganda. Whatever. Let the terrorists do what they do. You know, whatever. Sure, they threw a party over that. Whatever. Trump posts a tweet. Wow, he went too far. That's crazy. Huh, that's offensive. That might be offensive to some people. Yeah, all right. Thanks, retards. Moving on.
But I said it from that point, it's up to Bibi, Netanyahu, and Israel.
Yep.
I may have taken a different stance. But they went back to releasing the hostages. But if you remember, they said we weren't going to release any. They've totally ended it. And I said, well, they're not going to release any. They'll be held to pay. And but the rest is really up to him. What I may have done it differently than him. It's not my decision, it's his decision. But they did release all of those hostages. So,
Mr. President, when you spoke to Vladimir Putin, did he raise or did you discuss at all the possibility of a minerals deal on the Ukrainian land that Russia now controls?
I didn't discuss it, no. I'd like to buy minerals on Russian land, too, if we can. The rare earth. They have very good rare earth also. They both do, I would say that, and oil and gas. Look, it's a great thing. If we sell this, it's great for Russia, too, because we can do deals there. They have very valuable land that isn't utilized. So something like that could take place, yeah.
Have you put raising or lifting sanctions against Russia on the table as your
No, we haven't lifted any sanctions on anybody.
on the table as part of any negotiation?
I guess it will be at some point, but right now we haven't agreed to lift sanctions on anybody.
On that gold card, getting back to that, I'm fascinated by this, Mr.
All
President.
right, I have people in chat kind of arguing over what Trump actually wanted Israel to do because he's implying that Israel had a different stance. I think Trump wanted Israel to bomb the shit out of Gaza, to be honest. I really think that's kind of what Trump wanted to do. Netanyahu is being pressured by like a lot of people, like the left in Israel is pressuring him to, you know, just make peace deals and stuff. And I think Trump just wants him to absolutely obliterate them, to be honest. But anyway, that's just what I think that that they're thinking. I don't actually know anything. I'm just a blue retard on the internet. But that's what I think Trump wants Israel to do.
Should be fascinating. Your taxes will go down to nothing.
Would a Russian oligarch be eligible for a gold card?
Yeah, possibly. Hey.
Oh no!
Some Russian oligarchs that are very nice people.
I mean, look at it from Trump's perspective, okay? All right, I'm gonna play you an analogy here. All right, that was spicy. I'm just saying what I think Trump actually wants, because I'll play you an analogy. The analogy is, let's say, 100,000 people jump over the Mexican border, jump into Texas, murder 40,000 people in Texas, and kidnap 10,000 people in Texas that are tortured in Mexico. What do you think Trump's response would be? Like, I'm just putting it into perspective. What do you think Trump would do? To be real. Like, what do you think he would do? Right? Because that's what happened on October 7th, 2023. That's an equivalent. Just statistically, relatively equivalent, putting the numbers at even compared to the populations of the places. All right? What do you think Trump would do in a situation like that? Because that's what happened to Israel. That's what started this war. All right? Let's be real. Anyway.
Possible. They're not quite as wealthy as they used to be. They're not as wealthy as they used to be. I think they can afford $5 million.
So
no, a lot of people are going to want to. A lot of people are going to want to be in this country, and they'll be able to work and provide jobs and build.
Dude, this gold card thing is crazy. It's crazy that he drops like info bombs just randomly.
Companies and pay taxes, all of those things. It's an incredible. It's an incredible thing. I mean, this is the group that is the first to hear it. Nobody's heard about it. Nobody ever thought about it. But we've been thinking about it very, very strongly over the last week.
Again, because I think people didn't think about it because it just sounds bad. It sounds like you're the bad guy if you're giving special treatment to rich people in other countries. But logically, it just makes the most sense.
And I was going to announce it sometime next week, and I figure, why not? We have a lot of cameras blazing right now. We might as well do it now. We'll have Caroline announce it the next time.
All right, we're gonna watch the Caroline Caroline press briefing right after this, I think.
No, it's a great thing. The gold card. Remember the words, the gold card.
Oh my God.
Somebody said, can we call it the Trump gold card? I said, if it helps, use the name Trump. I'll give it to you for free.
Dude, this guy's crazy.
I like it.
He didn't even campaign it. He just comes up with it and literally tries to sell it the day after. It's crazy how he does this shit.
Probably just launched 10,000 stories. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on what Russian oligarchs you know?
I know. Isn't it interesting how many stories we do tell? And they all turn out to be true, and they all turn out to be ultimately correct.
Oh my God.
Trump was right about everything. Do you have one of those Trump was right about everything hats? I'm going to give it to this gentleman. Get me one of them.
But they're all going to be vetted. Everybody who comes in gets vetted, okay? They get vetted, so you got...
We're not, no cartel leaders. Don't worry, guys. Chill out, because the funny thing is, the reason why he said that is because he knows that there's going to be some bad faith fucking leftist political commentators being like, Trump is literally going to give gold cards to cartel leaders and terrorists that are rich. And it's like, obviously not.
You know.
Like, even though it's the most obvious thing in the universe, definitely people would do that shit.
We're going to begin in 2 weeks.
God. Dude, how does he do so much? And then on CNN, they're like, and Trump is wasting all of his time playing golf. Bro did more in a month than Biden did in 4 years.
About 2 weeks. The sale will start in about 2 weeks.
Oh my God. Okay, why is RFK doing? Why is he here? He's just standing behind him for half an hour doing nothing. Come on, bro. Don't you have like vaccines to test or something?
A role for Zelenskyy now, given the status.
I hope so. I mean, look, I think that we want to get that country back on its feet. Right now, it's been destroyed. It's so here, give me this here. Give me all of them. Look.
Yeah. He made new merch. Trump was right about everything. There's no way. Oh my God. There's no way he got that made. Oh, he's the best troll I've ever seen.
See that?
Trump was right about everything. I can't believe he actually made this merch.
Trump was right about everything. It just came in. Somebody sent it. I said, this was sent in by a fan. I said,
dude, actual fan mail. This is crazy. I can't believe this shit.
I think we should make some of them, right? But we were pretty much. You want one?
I'll pass.
Are you allowed to take one? Because he'll consider.
Oh, that's right. You're not allowed. Right. You can't take presents from the president.
I know him well. He's sort of a stiff.
I said you were right.
Brian, you're not a stiff. He's sort of a stiff guy. You know? He'll take other things, but not a free hat.
He's crazy. Bro's insane. Look at this guy.
Always say yes to the president. Always say yes to the president.
Would anybody like one?
Mr. President, an easy question.
Oh, come on. Silence? Oh my, dude, the media is mauling. They are furious. You hear their rage.
Maybe it's difficult. I'm going to ask you this question about the.
Who do you work for?
I work for 2 news organizations.
Who?
I work for 2 news organizations.
Yeah, who are they?
I work for Gray Television, America's 2nd largest broadcaster, and I work for iHeartRadio. So there you go. But let me ask you the.
He's like, all right, never heard of any of those. All right, anyway.
Easier, tough question, Mr. President.
He's just shrugging. He's like, I don't know. Like, who? Bro just got who mega lulled. Who?
The Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. Are they being extended an invitation?
They will be. We haven't yet, but we will be. I thought it was a great performance by them, and absolutely they'll be extended that invitation. Would you do that right away, by the way?
Sir.
We'll do it right away. We're going to do it sometime today, and they deserve to be down here, and we hope to see them. We have a lot of we just had the great hockey team, as you know, Florida come here. We have many of the great athletes come that win things.
What's the main obstacle holding up this PGA Tour Live Golf?
Well, they have to get together. You know, they've had a lot of discussion back and forth. They both are meaning.
See, the irony is, like, there are news people in this room from, like, iHeartRadio asking stupid questions about Eagles getting invited to fucking parties or whatever. Like, why are these people relevant? No wonder they want to change the way the press actually gets invited to the Oval Office. Can you imagine how much more efficient it would be if, let's say, I don't know, Asmongold was in that room asking questions? Or, I don't know, someone else with, like, a big platform? Like, I feel like it would be, like, a whole ass other world. Like, to actually get people that are liked by people actually broadcasting to people, right? Like it would be a whole other world, like an entire other world if that were to happen, you know? I think it would be much healthier for the country going forward too.
Well, and a deal will ultimately happen. I think it'll happen pretty quickly. It'd be nice to see the golfers, the best golfers, be able to play against each other.
What's your role been in this whole process?
Just to help expedite it. Tiger was here, Adam Scott was here, Jay Monahan was here the other day, just to really help expedite it. We had Yasser here from Saudi Arabia, great guy. These are all great people, and they want to work it out. So if I can help them work it out, I don't get anything out of it. If I can help them work it out. I just think golf, it's very much of an individual sport, and you want to see the best players playing against each other, not playing in two different locations, right?
What's going to be more challenging, a PGA Live deal or Russia-Ukraine deal?
I think the PGA deal is much more complicated.
They're asking him like joke questions. It's crazy how transparent he is that he does these meetings every day, that they literally ran out of questions. They're asking him like, what's a harder deal, the golfing deal or the, you know, Russia deal? Like, they ran out of questions. That is how efficient he is at actually answering questions. He's so transparent, they ran out of bait. Nux in the Oval Office. Yeah, I'm never gonna go to the Oval Office to ask him questions. Mr. Trump, Mr. President Trump, if you don't mind me asking, the God Emperor of mankind, what do you think? What do you think of him personally? And Trump will say, well, one thing I have to say, I really hate that he actually took an L from his son. His son crippled him, and that's crazy. I keep all of my children on shock collars at all times. I personally, when I become the God Emperor of mankind, everything will be different. I really hate that he called the planet Holy Terra instead of the Holy Planet of America.
Sir, may I ask you the Middle East question, if I may? What's your take on what's happening in the West Bank and what Israel
Well,
is
it's some movement up there that a lot of people are concerned about. And there's been a lot of Israeli movement. They're up there for a reason. All of a sudden, maybe they're not feeling so good about that. So that would be terrible. I hope that doesn't happen. But there is movement up there that nobody knew about, right? You know that, right?
Yeah, and when you say,
no one knows that. Every time I see people talk about that, every time I see people discussing what's going on, what's happening on the West Bank, every time I hear people discuss it, it's like, why is Israel in the West Bank? It's unbelievable. It's absolutely mind-boggling that people don't actually know what's happening. I'm pretty sure they just found like a huge bomb that they were planning to use for a terrorist attack in the West Bank. Like, it's crazy. Anyway.
I'm concerned about everything. I want the world to be peaceful. You know, when I left here, we had no war. We had defeated ISIS in less than 4 weeks. In fact, I took the general that defeated ISIS and I put him in charge of the whole ball game, because that's what we want. We want winners. Raisin Cane, you know, Raisin. When I heard that name, I said, I like that name. That's the kind of general I like. So we'll see. But he was great. He's a great soldier. Not a politician, a soldier, a real soldier. You know that, Brian. This guy was the real. This guy's the
story a million times.
Yeah, this guy's the real deal.
He is.
And I think he's going to do a great job. But think of it. We had no wars. We had no problems. We had no inflation. We had no problems.
All right, dude. All right.
October 7th in Israel, which was horrible. And then you see what happened with Ukraine. Russia would have never gone in if the election weren't rigged. It was a rigged election. The 2020 election was rigged.
Holy
and we
shit.
got out of it. And you see what happened.
Oh,
you see what happened to our country. Inflation, Afghanistan, that horrible withdrawal from Afghanistan. I think when Russia saw what happened in Afghanistan, they said, wow, it's a paper tiger. We're not a paper tiger. We are the strongest military force in the world. And by the way, Pete Hegseth is doing a great job. But we didn't have wars. We didn't have inflation. We had a strong border. We had everything going good. And then Biden got in, and he's, in my opinion, the worst president in the history of our country. I think Jimmy Carter was a very happy man when he passed away 2 weeks ago.
What are you expecting at the cabinet meeting tomorrow?
It's going to be a cabinet meeting, and I'll preside. Unlike Biden, I'll preside over my own cabinet meeting.
he throws infinite shade.
How would you compare your cabinet in your second term to your cabinet that you had in your first term?
Well, I had some great people my second term. I think this is deeper. I think it's better because it's deeper. I had some people that I didn't really like too much in my cabinet, but I didn't know Washington then. I was a New York person. I knew New York intimately, but I had to rely on people. I had great people. Look, we got the biggest tax cuts in history. I rebuilt the military, but we did so much. We did unbelievable. Even right to try. Somebody was saying today they were saved by right to try. We did right to try medically. We did transparency medically. That was a big thing, but Biden canceled that one. He didn't cancel right to try, which is interesting. He didn't cancel Space Force. He was going to cancel Space Force. Space Force is turning out to be invaluable. Amazing. We created Space Force. But think of it. We rebuilt our entire military, and now we're going to have to patch it up a little bit again because of what's happened. No, this was a grossly incompetent administration. The only thing they were good at was cheating in elections and the weaponization of government.
That's crazy. Oh my God, dude.
Thank you very much.
Oh my God, that's insane. The only thing they were good at was being little bitches and gay and having small penises. Thank you for being here. Stay weird, fam. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.